What up, y'all? Satimara here. And check it, I'm a little in my feelies because I was in a rushy rush to get to the bus and my bus never showed. And it was from the station, so it wasn't even like, oh, it missed my stop or I missed it. So I'm guessing one of the buses went out of commission or something. Hopefully everybody's okay. Probably a fender bender or, something happened. So yeah, hope everybody's okay. So I'm cool with the drivers. Like, I wish they had that in an alert or something so that I could have gone or anyways made other arrangements. At this point, I would get to my jiu-jitsu class. I was ready for jiu-jitsu. So this is why I'm a little bumming. Like, I was really excited to go. And it's supposed to be a pretty cool week. It's been a cool week. It's always cool. It's jiu-jitsu. So, anyways. However, let's keep it funky. Life be doing what life does. And I feel like she gave me a perfect setup. Because, oh man. So I've been having something rolling through my brain and my heart that I've been wanting to kind of talk about. But I'm a little nervous. I feel kind of funky. I feel, I'm not so sure. For me, what I was really wanting to go into is why I am catering my services towards black female, black women, black woman, womb, goddesses, black goddesses. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to discuss this with a few close friends, close relatives who are black, black women, black men, and then once my attention has been set on it, of course, everything else is showing up in my reality to support. Like, hey, yeah, why don't you talk about this? And yet I'm a little nervous about it, so I'm gonna talk about it. And I don't know where it's gonna go, but that's what editing is for. I was asked by a beautiful soul if I would consider opening up my moon party to all women, and this person was very flattering. I know that they had no ill intent. They were, like I said, very flattering, and I was like, oh yes, I have wisdom? Oh, stop it. And with that question began the need to develop an answer. Yeah? So it was like, I already had in my mind why I wanted to work with a black woman, but I haven't articulated it. I haven't really given it full thought like it deserves. And in fact, I've probably avoided that as much as I've avoided this talk, in the sense that there are some parts of me that does not feel like I'm an authority to speak on black women empowerment and self-love. I get how ridiculous that sounds out loud. Well, it's in the head, it doesn't seem as ridiculous, hence why it's able to loop on and loop on and loop on and chip away at my own self-confidence. But once I speak it out loud and give voice to it, I do recognize how ridiculous it is. I mean, I'm black, I'm a woman, I'm working on self-love, this is my journey, this is all I can really teach and preach and, do. But ultimately, I'm still working on my self-confidence, so this is part of it. And as I consider this, I think about, well, I've always sort of been a part of that new age mentality of like, love and appreciation. I've got good vibes for the whole collective. I'm beginning to realize maybe that's a bit large. I don't even know where I stand with myself, let alone trying to change the world or save anybody. So at this part of my self-love journey, I really am focusing on loving myself, because we also have all of these sayings that you can't truly love anyone else until you love yourself, right? Know thyself, temet noske. And I feel like there's been something really, really deliberately skewed to think that that's selfish, to think that that's incorrect, to take away our power, especially as Black women. So there's that. And there's also the fact that, like, look, y'all, I've never done this stuff before. Like, I just came out like, sometimes I have these doubts. I've got that imposter syndrome, which is crazy to allow that to mess me up, because you read that all the time. Like, some of the greatest of greats have always felt like they were, that someone was going to find them out, that they were faking the funk. And like, look, you better see that and push on through it anyhow. Because ain't nobody here to do what you were here to do. Ain't nobody here to release and express and allow the divine goddess to come through and manifest into this world except for you, in the way that you do. No one's gonna do it like you, boo-boo. So, yeah, just getting over those doubts and things like that. So with that said, it's like, okay, here we go. There is something to be said about the lack of safety that Black women feel, certainly in America, but throughout the world. I do think that the Black woman is the highest of the high in terms of energy and power connecting to this earth. Now, here's the difference. I don't think that makes anybody else less than, or any other race or any other woman. I mean, I get it, how it sounds, if I'm saying that Black women are exalted, therefore everyone else, like, how do you be exalted without other people being beneath? And it's like, that alone is colonized thinking. It's not a matter of black and white or this and that. On the Being You podcast, which I highly recommend, Ade, the host, he referenced a quote from a shaman. He didn't say the shaman, but he was saying that it's not about right or wrong. It's about right or left. Which, of course, it's not about any directions. Like, who's to say there's only right, left, or up, down? I mean, look, it's all, right? But, and I think it really speaks to what else is possible. There's so many other ways to look at things. So why be so limited in this or that? And yet, we've all been programmed with this sort of thinking. That is exactly what this system, this world that chooses to focus on breaking up Black families, that chooses to kill off our Black men, that chooses to sexualize or mammy the Black woman. They've got the Jezebel, the Sapphire, and the Mammy, I think, are like the three archetypes that the Matrix likes to put upon the Black woman. And so we know how to be sexy, to embrace our curves, to flaunt our curves. But yeah, we're either sexualized, we're the over-masculine, domineering female, she's gonna like Cookie from that show Empire. Or, we're like, we that Aunt Jemima, always the supporting role, right? But everything rests on us. So I'm going further than I meant to, but I'm just saying that the conditioning has been so strong. Our families have been pulled apart since we were forced to come to this country. And you gotta think of what kind of a toll that takes on a psyche, let alone a people. Like the things that are translated in the DNA, the things that are going on. Yes, we speak a lot about our ancestors. We just know that many cultures respect their ancestors and their elders. And there's a pretty dominant culture that builds housing and puts their folks there and visits them twice a year. I mean, yeah, there's just not the same degree of respect and reverence. And They've tried so hard to make us have that too. In any case, when you look at these systematic ways that they've suppressed, denied, repressed, confined, hurt, abused, killed my people, that speaks to something. That speaks to we're in a time now where there's a need for us to come together because we can. That's been denied from us for so long. And in this coming together, we grow, we express, we connect. So I'm saying there's a part of me that just wants to feel safe. There's something to be said about Black women coming together. I think we can agree that women coming together is already powerful. So why is it that it's not powerful for Black women to focus on coming together? Or why does that turn into, now I'm being racist towards you, I guess is the fear that I then have. I'm just saying, what if it's not a matter of me being exclusory, but being inclusive? Like, I want to feel safe. I've never done this before. There is something from my personal experience, and I don't know if you've been following me for these past couple months, I kind of beat my own drum. That was a fight to get to that point, and to be involved with the things, esoteric things, the metaphysical things that I'm into, right? It wasn't like the easiest because it's not like they're that accessible to the Black community. Things are developing more, sure, especially with social media. Hey, this is why I'm coming out of the woodworks. But it's not like it's, when I've gone almost nearly and I've lived in multiple states, like cross country, different coasts, all that. Every time I've gone to any of these sorts of classes, even in Atlanta, predominantly white people, predominantly white women, but predominantly white folks. And there is, I've clocked, this whole nicey attitude, this I really want to be, please, I want to be agreeable, make sure you like me. And I already have a pretty pleasant and dope personality, but it's one of those things where it's like, can I just go and enjoy something without feeling like I need to be putting on the airs? Now, I'm not saying all Black women feel that way. This one does. And, I got I'm a little mixy, so that's a whole nother set of issues on a lot of things. However, you know what? The world sees me as a Black woman. My experience has been that of a Black woman. And so when I come back to this, I don't want to deny my white ancestry, it's it's kind of undeniable. That's literally everything that I've known up until now. Even the things that I've thought I was learning about my culture have still been stolen. Let's call a spade, stolen. Something, I don't even know what they do. And then regurgitated back in a different way that is now disconnected and rings true in my soul, but something is still missing. I'll give you a great example. I was on YouTube, and what was it? It was, so I saw this, and it was Comedic How-To Guide, 42 Laws or Paths to Innocence or something. I'm like, all right. I click on it, and it's a white lady. Several decades old, and it's like, I'm sure it was a lovely video. Actually, it wasn't. Not for me anyway. But I started watching it. I was already calling. And I started watching, and I was just like, yeah, I can't with this. But maybe I have no doubt that she's done her research, and she feels really connected. And, I'm not saying that's not the thing. But what I'm saying is that's very curious that I, as a Black woman, am going to YouTube to see a woman talking about comedic how-to, and, she ain't black. And does not look like she has an ounce of black in her. I don't know, I don't know. Everybody's quick to send their DNA off to figure out what it is and what all they are and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, y'all could go ahead and do that. Then there's the other aspect of, having to deal with this white fragility, right? I didn't even know how much that was, running in the background of my subconscious, which clearly is obviously also a part of my DNA. But this, like I was saying, this wanting to be super agreeable all the time and just really nicey. And I mean, I am nice, but I'm also not nice. I'm human. We're clearly not a nice breed. Just take a look at the world around us. Take a look at yourself. But we're all here working to get better and better. I would like to think, well, actually, I do believe that. I think life is very interested in expansion. That's an opinion. Take that or leave that. So with that said, I do think, it works for my thoughts. We're getting better and better and better. So there's that. And then I was watching the Nagwal Zone's live stream on YouTube. You check them out there. We're also on IG now. And there was an invitation presented to check out Dr. Khalil Muhammad's interview with Phil Donahue from 1994. Oh my gosh. Go check that out. It was very power-filled. I mean, it also, again, it kind of coincides with everything I'm experiencing right now, because that definitely lit up a fire in me. Again, another dear colleague was discussing his experience with this and noticing what came up in his body as he was watching Dr. Khalil and things like that. And this gentleman is white, and he was experiencing some things which, definitely, I was like, oh my gosh, no, yeah, I know, that must be really tough, feeling threatened, being perceived as the enemy, and feeling pain, feeling, anger. I was really feeling for him. It really was. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then something kind of snapped, and he was like, but what about all of that inspiration and power I was feeling from Dr. Khalil Muhammad? What about the ridiculousness I was witnessing with Phil Donahue? Oh my gosh, that guy, oh man. I could do a whole commentary on that. Just on Phil. The planted audience members, it was just, And I found myself feeling really bad that my colleague was feeling bad, And then I was like, what is that about? Has this always been running in the background? Is this what's they talk about when they're saying that white fragility? Is this now I need to feel bad that you feel bad? And not even so much now that I need to, but I've certainly been trained to. I've certainly been trained to now it's the other is permitted to freely express how they feel, and yet I'm sitting here gosh, I don't know, is this too much? Is this too, I haven't even gone into any, which I totally could, but I haven't even gone into anything about, how forgiving black people are, and how, white people do this, and black people do that. I'm thinking of Dave Chappelle, the Block Party. White people do this, black people do that. Oh, I be killing myself. Or let's say I haven't even gone into anything that would again say that when I'm saying, claiming pride and ownership of my race, of my gender, when I'm stepping into my power, right? That's really what it comes down to. I mean, again, when I say I want to focus on black women, you're not hearing me say anything poorly about the other races of women, because obviously I'm definitely focused on women. We got that portal power, And when I consider this aspect of the white fragility, and I'm not even going to get into philosophizing and stuff on this right now, it's just there seems to be this attitude that I'm clocking that that I'm saying that I'm better than the other, and I'm not. I'm just trying to reclaim my pride and power and help other Black women do the same, so that we don't have to go into over-sexualizing ourselves, so that we don't have to dumb ourselves down or play small or be overly masculine to exert our point. Like, to tap into our divine feminine, which actually brings us into a great balance and harmony of what needs to be expressed in this world. And like I said, even then, I'm dealing with some frustrations, and I'm clocking some resistance within myself to like speak out on it. I don't even know if anyone's actually feeling that way. That's the crazy part. I actually don't even know if anyone is like, oh, you think you so much better, and like, you're leaving people out, you're the racist now. No one's literally said any of that. I mean, I feel like I've clocked some folks being a little like, okay. But the crazy part is that could all be in my own head, right? And why is that? Why is that? I mean, yes, part of that is me, of course. That's what I'm working on. That's what this whole self-love journey and growth is all about. But could it not be that the world around me has been built for that? Has been designed for that level of programming on all sides, right? Really, there's only one enemy of this matrix, you know? And I do believe that there's a whole aspect of we all got to come together, and like, I do believe in that appreciation and connection for all of humanity and things like that. However, that's such a far jump. Nobody even knows who they are. Speaking from experience, working on it. I mean, I am, that's about it. But none of us know who we are. So it's like making this jump into like, oh, I'm gonna love everybody else. I'm gonna love, you know, all humanity, and I'm gonna save these folks and stuff. And it's like, you haven't even looked at yourself. You haven't even looked within. So, I mean, and then even going further as far as like, let's legit look at what has been happening to Black people all over the world. But again, speaking from my own experience, certainly here in the United States. A day with the Being You podcast, I was also able to assist him with a vision that he brought into manifestation called Representing Our Ancestors, Representing Our Stories. And it was a 3-part series, and it was really powerful, really amazing, and that was open only to Black people. And I remember him sort of experiencing his thing with it, so it's just kind of funny, because I was so like, oh, it doesn't matter what they say, just go on. And then here I am like, I feel some kind of way. But biggest feedback that we received from that event was that everyone really appreciated the connection, really being able to come together in a safe container to be with others who look like them, who felt like them, who thought like them. I mean, not exactly, of course, you know what I mean? But like, there is a freedom, there was a safety there. And I remember being so curious about that. Like, I was really touched. And I was like, wow, we really don't feel connected, do we? Like, there's a part of it, there's a part of our swag that's a bit of a front. Out of necessity. I understand, like, if you've always, so my colleague, right, he was watching, and I remember he was saying he was feeling defensive because he was the enemy, he was angry, things like that. And I was just like, yeah, can you imagine that little moment you felt watching that show, and then having that be your experience all your life, always in the background, down into your genetics, your very DNA, when you've been perceived as the number one enemy, you're never feeling safe. So there's already all these aspects as a woman, and all of these aspects as a Black woman. We just need a safe space to be able to come together and talk, and to realize that, we're not crazy, that these ideas are not independent. Like, there are others who look like us, who think like us. And when we connect and when we share and exchange these ideas and then take them back home and implement them, there is power there. There's power there, And I feel very passionate about that. I feel very passionate about wanting to assist other black women to remember and recognize the strength that is in them, because that is what I'm trying to do for me. And I know how powerful it is when I feel it and engage it and express it. And if we were to get into a container and do that, do you know the amazingness we would do? Do you know the things we could accomplish? I mean, black women, we are the backbone of this world. Here's the thing, I don't know. I really don't know anything, right? Who knows anything except what I can verify for myself. And look, if there's one thing I think we can all agree on is self-love is critical, this time more than ever. And if me focusing on my roots and tapping into my ancestry, a part of my ancestry that has been not only hidden, but beaten down, suppressed violently. And I'm in a day and age where I'm able to do something about it, at least work on that for myself. And even if nothing else, by me working on it, I'll radiate a little differently, right? So I'll just radiate differently. I mean, wouldn't that be worth it? Isn't that worth it all? I mean, know thyself. You know, other races are not going to be able to speak to or understand my experience as a black woman. I don't fully understand their experience as a non-black person, right? Even though, yes, I'm mixed, I said the world sees me as black. That's fine. Like, I love being black. But at the same time, like, how am I have never even tapped into the power of that. How am I supposed to be present for anybody else, like, without sacrificing a bit of myself, losing the entire intention of whatever I'm trying to do, because now I'm catering, or I'm pandering, or, you know what I mean, like bringing someone up to speed, or don't even get me involved on the like degrees of entitlement. I'm not even trying to get into a black people do this, white people do that. Like, that's not, I wanted to go there. Thank goodness I did the soundboarding. I wanted to get into that. There is a part of me, it might come out late, like another time, but now's not the time. And I don't even want to give my energy to that. It's like, that is what it is. We all got to deal with our stuff. You know, either you deal with it and you move on, which is not to say that you deny it. Dealing is not denying. Maybe there's something about that other folks who are so quick to be like, well, why aren't you, oh, you're the racist. Like, yeah, y'all might want to start looking at yourselves, because a lot of times it's those who scream the loudest, right? You know, I was listening to someone the other day and they were like, here's the thing. Oh, this might have been on day 2 on the other show. It's like, even in your innocence, you might say something that is actually hurtful. And oftentimes that's what happens, because people don't have a filter. They don't think before they speak. You know, so again, I go back to, this is why my focus is directed towards the black woman. Look, I'm just trying to do my part in awakening the divine feminine. You guys, you know? And I don't even know what that fully looks like yet. Maybe I will open it up later. At this time, this is where I'm at. I don't like feeling like I need to defend myself or explain, and I think that's where I was a little bit resistant. However, I think the conversations are necessary. There's too many folks shying away. Too much of this, like, false, like, oh yeah, I'm all about this, but when it comes down to the actions that support those words, no. And yeah, I hope all that made sense. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment and I'll get back to you when I do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your contemplations. Thanks for being willing to look at some of this information. This was still pretty nicey as far as I'm concerned. There's fire here. There's fire coming on within me. I was getting all lit up like certain moments too. I was like, oh, we gotta calm down. Look, I'm just interested in expansion. I'm interested in knowing the fullness of who I am. Knowing the fullness of who I am. Yeah. Again, I go back to, it's not about exclusion. In fact, if you were really bad about it, you would know that this was about inclusion to the highest, purest degree, I'd say. And yeah, I'm grateful for this opportunity to gain more clarity. I'm going to continue to gain more clarity, obviously. I've already popped the cork, I guess. I don't know what saying I was thinking. I've already started, so yeah, hopefully all of that made sense. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, it was still a bit nicey. But my claws are growing, okay? Like, give me some time. In any case, I do still hold much love and appreciation for all of humanity, at the most esoteric sense of knowing that we are all one, and that there is only one true enemy. And you could say it's the establishment. That would be a way to look at it. There's the establishment of the establishment. And, you know, whoever's at the top, that's the ultimate enemy. But, like, I can't even be worried about that. Like, there's so much down on this level, programming me, conditioning me, brainwashing me. And I'd like to think of myself as a kind of hip cat. But it's not about being a hip cat, is it? It's about being a snake. Wise as serpents, I believe is what they say in the Bible. So yeah, I think I'm complete. I hope that tied in concisely enough, and maybe from this degree, if there were any questions, you understand where I'm coming from, you know? Like I said, I don't even know if this is how people are thinking, but I am, and that's bothersome to me, because in my essence, in my soul, I know damn well who I am, right? I'm a child of the sun and of the earth. Right? There's that quote, like, my skin absorbs the sun rays and my hair defies gravity. You can't tell me I'm not magical. But they've really tried. And they almost had me. If it weren't for that pesky dog, or whatever Scooby-Doo. In any case, I really do hold much love and appreciation for you. I thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear what you think, because I think these conversations need to happen. I'm not in control, as I saw with my bus today. In any case, thank you again. And, yeah, Black women, come to my moon party! Alright, so I think I'm gonna call it. That's all I got in me now, and it might rain. So, love ya, peace, peace.